Blind.
Well, if you're blind, you probably shouldn't be playing this game. And if you're blind, you also can't tune into the NIT podcast.
Yeah, you can actually. Like that's. I feel
Shut,
like that's the one thing
Yeah,
that they
that's a
can
shut
big
do.
up.
market.
Yo, shut up.
That's the
As
one
long
thing
as you
they
can
can do.
navigate it.
They can tune in.
What? I didn't really think
Yo,
that was. Yeah, I ain't
if
gonna lie.
someone if someone knows how to burst a bubble, it's Austin.
Damn,
Oh
bro.
man,
Did y'all services just go
Uh,
kapooey or that's just me?
no sir.
I think this is
Just
you,
you,
my
dude.
boy.
It says you
Damn,
in the game.
tough.
Uh,
Anyway,
Not
damn.
anymore.
regret nothing.
Just send another invite if we get to that. But my fault, Jai.
Oh
You good,
no.
Speaking
bro.
my
Yeah. Welcome to the NIT podcast. It's your boy, Sir Colion, Power God, John Almighty, all that good stuff. Here with a couple of my friends, giving you one of the last two podcasts of the year. Before we head into 2023, whole new format and stuff changing. Stay tuned. But we had some interesting things in the news to talk about, so you're gonna get our thoughts, views, and opinions. Maybe some jokes, maybe some arguments. We have the whole shebang whenever it comes to conversation.
These are gems I am giving you.
I mean, or not. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know if I'm giving you gems.
I'm
I'm
gonna
giving
be
you
yeah,
honest
gems
with you.
right
I
there.
could give you bullshit.
I can
Me
give you this. I
personally.
can give you bullshit. Think for yourself. That's
Yeah.
what I'm not gonna lie. We definitely missed out on naming this podcast that, but now it's that. Now it is what it is.
Now it's that.
Damn.
Uh
Hey,
That's
don't
why
fuck
we
huh.
up your
called it
life.
now.
Ah,
But that
Huh.
is exactly why we called it. Now it's that.
right.
Facts.
For things like this.
Facts. But you know what's something that you shouldn't think by yourself about for yourself about? It's tuning into this podcast every week or subscribing to our YouTube channel at NIT Pod TV, all caps.
Nope.
Huh?
Yeah.
Kissing
Yeah. On
Don't
you.
use your
that group
don't
chat.
use your brain on that one. Mind
Facts. Yeah.
control.
Yeah, nah, like if
Follow.
your man's is
Follow.
doing
Follow
it, you
people.
should also do it.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I'm really your man's and I'm following them, so you should do it.
Exactly.
But all right, man,
If
let's
Jai.
go ahead and introduce this cast, man. The 360 boys, man. Introduce yourself.
Oh my gosh, he's still on that.
I mean,
I guess
it's
I'll go.
coming.
I
The
guess I'll go
360 dude is
first.
coming.
You know who it is,
Yo.
Duff, man. You know what I'm saying. Keep it short and sweet. Word to the pod.
Hey man,
Um,
it's K Rock, you know what it is, the stepper, the shiner, the stunner, all that good shit. Back for another one. Let's get it.
It's your boy Black. What's up with y'all, man? Let's get it.
they saved the best for last. You already know it's your boy B Roy Trillinois in the building, Mister in the building himself. You know what I'm saying? We about to start having some blessed conversations, and let's have Ja kick it off, man.
Yeah,
We
thanks. So
got
since
something to
they
talk
saved the
about.
best for last, it's your boy again, Sir
You
Corleone.
already
Jai
introduced
Jai
yourself. You ugly
Almighty.
as shit. You ugly as shit. You
Yeah,
ugly
I'm
as
just
shit.
going
You
in.
already
Just
introduced
going
yourself.
in.
You already
I'm just
introduced
going
yourself.
in.
That's weird.
I'm
That's
just saying.
weird.
I'm just saying. You
That's
said the best for
weird.
last. Like I had to make sure that there wouldn't be the confusion.
You know what? Fuck off.
That's how you get paid the B-Rooks, B-Roy. Brandon, the guy's a natural. Uh,
Niggas a natural.
niggas a
Don't
natural.
call it.
Bizzle,
Don't
Bizzle.
don't call. Yeah. Don't call a nigga a natural, bro.
Bizzle, the guy's a
That's
natural.
crazy.
He
That's
not natty,
crazy.
bro.
Not
Yo,
calling
he
a
needs to
nigga
stop.
natty.
He not
Yeah.
natty.
Go ahead.
That is
Hey.
rude.
Hey. Yeah. What's the first topic, yo?
What?
Cause this nigga is on one
What,
today. I
Ah!
don't
what
like
is
it.
This
going
nigga clearly
on?
woke up
Yo,
late.
he needs to
Yeah.
stop.
I
Someone get
don't
him
like
out
this
of
guy.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Facts.
right, all right, all right, all right. First topic. I really don't want to get too much into this because we got other stuff we can get deeper into. But shout out to our fellow Morehouse alum for winning the Georgia Senate. And as much as I want to give him congratulations, I have a PSA. Black people, we gotta stop playing too much. Cause why the hell did Herschel Walker almost win? Like,
That nigga is stone stupid.
yo, like who
Stone
the
fucking
fuck let
stupid.
Herschel Walker? Yo, why y'all let Herschel Walker
Like
almost win?
this this fuck nigga was talking about werewolves and vampires and shit. like
Bro,
how do we allow this to protect?
That CTE kicking his ass.
Nah, for real. They called the
His ass
nigga
ain't
a
from
cool.
Georgia.
They called the nigga a cool. He said Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm from the South. Cool, one of the smartest animals out there. What?
Okay.
Excuse me,
Sir,
Nah,
lady.
bro. Like,
that's not
nah.
true.
I'm not gonna lie.
They eat garbage.
First, I really think this country is really like in a place of no return. Like that race, like I thought we were doing bad when Trump won. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this race, like because like in no other world does he have a shot at winning. Like even if you are a Republican, like you just be like, nah, we just cannot vote for this idiot. But that nigga, he not only did he almost win, but he forced a runoff. So we had to vote for this nigga again, or vote against this nigga again. Matter of fact, like why was that even a like nah, bro? Like he's like the guy that sparked a debate about werewolves versus vampires should not be a Georgia senator. I'm sorry, that should
Yes.
like
No,
This is
seriously.
not Twilight. I don't know why the fuck this nigga has the power that he has to be able to get that off and then get into the runoff. Yeah, but like I just
And it was
this is
still
actually
close. It
insane
was
to me.
like
Yeah, this
48,
shouldn't
51 or
Why
some
was
shit
it
like
close at
that.
all?
Like,
it
Like you
shouldn't
have
yo.
to
be
really
close.
not think for yourself to vote
nah,
for this
bro. Like
man.
that
Like
shit came
what?
to the wire.
And he's
I'm
not even a
sorry.
career politician, so he's dumb, and he's not like even experienced in politics in
You're not
general.
about to tell me that somebody didn't say that, yo, this would be fucking hilarious if Herschel Walker wins. You can't tell me that somebody didn't go into the voting booth with that mentality. And I feel like it was just that many people doing that.
Fucking
That's
trolls.
the same niggas that voted for Kanye during that one election.
Oh my God. Nah, whenever I actually voted and I saw his name on the ballot, I laughed. I didn't vote for him. I did not vote for Kanye West.
In hindsight, people, don't y'all think that that was probably a good idea that we didn't do that? Well, they
I thought
still voted
you,
for
Well, I thought you were about
they.
to go like in a whole different direction. I thought you were about to say in hindsight.
What?
I was about to say in hindsight. Don't you think that
Well,
we
I
should
mean,
have
it was
voted for
still
Yeah,
fucked.
that seems
It
Kanye?
was
fucked
still
up.
fucked either. It's still fucked either way. But yeah, it's damn near the lesser of the three evils. Basically, it was that nigga, uh, the orange nigga,
Don't
and
leave and
then
join
the
Jackson
old nigga.
Squad. What the fuck?
This nigga's a nincompoop. But anyway, yeah. So basically, that was that election. Georgia, y'all are kind of stupid. But
Yeah.
actually, I take that back
But shout out to our
for
Georgia market because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
facts, yeah,
it's
facts.
like eighty
Y'all
percent of the people there. So of our market. So yeah, shout out to
only the
y'all.
stupid niggas are stupid,
Yeah,
not all y'all.
and
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
nah,
I,
nah, 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 nah.
the
The
real
knitters
knit,
could not. They're
the
not even like in this conversation.
knitters don't
Right,
listen.
right.
They don't vote for Herschel Walker. They don't
Yeah,
do that.
nah. We don't support him over here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Too political.
Speaking of politics,
Yeah.
first I do want to tackle this with serious and sensitivity. Right? Shout out to Brittany. I almost said Brittany Renner. To Brittany Griner. To Brittany. I said I'm tackling this.
Cutting them plastic
I
up.
second that. Shout out to Brittany Renner, y'all.
Shout out to Brittany Renner.
Oh,
Shout out to
First
Brittany
and
Renner.
foremost.
And
bro,
shout out.
imagine if Brittany were to get stuck in Russia, dog.
I
Oh
ain't
Oh
my
no!
gonna.
Oh no! They
god.
not letting her come
See,
back home.
Nah,
Oh no! They ain't
nah,
letting
they're
her come
not.
back home.
She's
they're
stuck
not.
as fuck.
Yeah, nah, they ain't letting her come back
Oh
home.
fuck.
She'll find her way out that
Okay.
prison
Figure out a
though.
way to
That's just
marry
me.
Putin
But I
though.
think
She'll be the warden.
make that shit rock. She
She'll be
make
the
that shit rock.
warden. She'll be
She
the first
married
lady.
Putin.
Yeah, she'll be the first
Nah,
lady.
for sure.
But
Fact.
in all seriousness, thank God that we got Brittany Griner,
Thank God.
WNBA superstar, home. You know what I'm saying? It's an unfortunate circumstance, and you know they were trying to keep a black woman there, for a minuscule crime for like 10 years. Uh, and we're happy that she's home. We want her to be
Right.
home. Everything else from this
We're
point
so
is silly.
happy.
Everything else from this point is
Seriously.
silly. Seriously,
Seriously,
we're
want
happy
her
that
ass to
she's
be
home.
home.
Dog, did you see some of the memes, dog, about who we traded?
Dog.
So for those of you
Oh
that
my
don't know,
god.
Brittany Griner, they did a prisoner swap for an arms dealer called the Lord of War,
God.
the Merchant of Death.
Merchant of Death.
No, it's one of the worst.
Oh my god, bro. Ain't no fucking way.
I just want to say Joe Biden single-handedly saved Russell Wilson's legacy.
Oh.
Because on paper. It don't look great. I ain't gonna do
Yeah,
that. It don't look
that
great.
trade, yeah, that because the Seahawks trade was gonna about to go down in history as one of the worst trades on planet Earth. But Joe Biden might have did. I'm not saying that Brittany Griner does not need to be home. I wish I'm glad she's home. But for a nigga named the Merchant of Death, I think
Yeah, like
like the tables were
Like this
like the
nigga
rest
was
was like,
selling
oh
death.
really? Like they're going for that? Hell yeah, we do that shit. The
he
fuck?
said,
Send that nigga back
For the,
over here.
nah,
that
like
shit
I ain't gonna
surprised me. I
lie.
thought they weren't going for it.
Bro, what in the
We should have at
fuck?
least negotiated for a first round pick. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Maybe like
throwing a
pay.
marine,
You know what
shout out.
I'm saying?
But think about it. Actually, isn't a horrible trade when you really think
Huh?
about the time. Yeah, because this
Oh,
Merchant of Death nigga, this
Uh,
nigga was getting out regardless. He was gonna get out in 5 years. So like, it's
I
not
thought
like
you
he
were
had
gonna get
life
out
to
in
change.
9 years.
hey,
I heard five.
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure a nigga named the Merchant of Death can get busy in less than 5 years. So giving him an early start to do
But like,
espionage on our fucking country, I don't know if that was a good idea.
I
but
ain't
For
I
gonna
was
you
lie,
thinking
know,
that
they
boy
would
getting
probably
right back
like.
into the
oh
field.
yeah,
He
that
went.
nigga's getting right back to
No,
it.
no,
They
no,
get
no.
that nigga
He's in.
pistol
nah,
He's
his
and
in
first
a
day.
2 years.
bazooka. Hey,
That
Nah, his
boy is
first day
cooking
out.
for
His first day
bodies.
out about to be crazy.
about to
Like,
go
Wait, hold on.
crazy, dog.
Hey, time out. I got a question. So, if the Russian bull was supposed to get out, you said 5 or 9 years.
I thought it was
5 years.
nine.
Well, according, we could
I,
look it
I
up.
know he had a
5
25
and 9.
years. I know he had a 25-year sentence, and he served a good chunk of it.
Okay, so with that being said, if
Let's
I
just
know
do an
Brittany
average of
Grinder was
7.
getting sentenced to 9 years for sure.
Did you just
Yeah,
call her Brittany Grinder?
that's kind of funny.
Mm.
His grinder. Grind.
Grind her,
Either
yeah.
either way,
Dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm so
fuck.
glad we did that PSA early because boy.
but either way, if they
BG.
both were going to be serving extensive years in prison,
Mhm.
and people are upset about the trade and they want to protect the country and all that, we could have just waited.
That's not. I think the problem is people. It's not fair because of what they were charged with. Oh my god! Because it just sounds ridiculous, right? Like
It just sounds
Brittany
funny.
Griner was charged with like some small amount of marijuana in the vape and things like that. And in other
Right.
countries, that seriously though, America, you got to stop saying that. Oh, it's just a little bit of weed. It's just a little bit. It's not just a little bit in other places. Like you
Right.
got to respect the laws and rules of other places. Even though 9 years was extremely excessive, you have to accept the laws and rules of other places. It was like whenever, like a few years ago, that kid from Singapore went there and like vandalized the shit, and they was like whooping his ass for like 10 years. No, and I mean that
Dog,
literally.
I'm
Stop
sorry,
laughing. Stop
dog. Fuck.
No,
laughing.
I mean
Fuck.
like that
That
literally,
just
like they.
sounds crazy.
No, like they literally like beat him with like a bamboo stick or something like that. Like he was
For
like dead
10
ass.
years?
Nah, it was for a while, but then the
Nah, like
president went
Okay,
there
at,
I
to
was
at a
like,
help.
certain
I thought
point,
you
like
said
we're
for
gonna
10
have to
years.
talk about this.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like,
bro.
all right, now,
Like,
this year's 7, dog. Like y'all still mad about this
like,
shit?
come on.
Like,
Dog.
come on, man.
But
Y'all fixed it.
yeah, yo.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, yo. So one day I gotta like leave and send another invite because this shit's stuck and I
Yeah,
can't close
yeah.
that. But
Shit's leaking.
but yeah. So it's yeah. But so like you gotta respect the rules and shit like that. But it was a ridiculous amount. Obviously, it was a political play to try to get they nigga to cook up some fresh death, right? Oh
Some
wow.
French death.
As soon as
Oh
Austin left,
my
we can
god.
exit. It's crazy. Um, but yeah.
Bro,
So.
it was a me.
It, yeah, it was totally. But yeah, so that was kind of like the whole premise of why everybody was so outraged and things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, the optics it looks bad,
It's bad
but
optics.
we're glad that we got a black woman home. We're glad that she's safe. The black dude on CNN, I forget his name, but he's kind of cool. He was like, everybody that's like upset about it, they should, look at themselves and be like, well, actually, I don't want to get into that point. So disregard everything I just said. This is the thing. Whenever you go live, you have brain farts. So
I don't have a brain fart. All I'm saying is I don't disagree with what happened. However, I will go out on a limb and say that I believe that this was definitely a political good look for
Russia.
Joe. No, no, no. Fuck. No, I'm
For
talking
Joe
about
Biden.
For Joe Biden to make it seem like, even though clearly I don't think, well, I'm not gonna say clearly, but to me that's not that big of a deal because, like you said, the nigga was gonna be released 5 years from now. But it just looked like he did something and he cares about people. And she's a black woman, so it looks like the optics to him. I think he was doing it like, hey, this is a, we get a U.S. citizen back, and the black community may fuck with you because you're getting a black woman home, blah 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 blah. So I think that it looked good for him, or for his team. They said this would be a good look to try to really fight for this and see if we can go ahead and do this shit.
Oh
So I
yeah,
don't think that he was doing it
especially
because
because that
like
boy said
that
he
was a
running
big thing on
again.
his list.
Because that boy
Oh
said he
yeah,
coming back in 2024.
yeah. So
That boy said he
he,
coming back.
yeah, Biden need to start doing some shit before that boy get back. And well, I don't shit. I hate to say it, but that nigga might get
He
voted
might
for.
actually win.
Yeah, he might
Donald
win
Trump
again.
might
This nigga
actually
was
win.
impeached fucking twice, and it's a criminal. He's actually a documented criminal.
He technically wasn't
Yes.
He shouldn't
impeached.
even be allowed to run again.
He technically wasn't impeached.
Wait, cause
Eh.
aren't you? Cause I thought it was like if you get impeached twice, that's like the real impeachment type shit, huh?
Nah, if you
Cause
get
No,
there's
he
like
was
the,
impeached,
impeached.
there's
He
like
was he
no,
was
cause
he
no,
was impeached, but he didn't like after that like the it's the
Yeah,
Senate they had
impeachment is like
to
a process. It's not necessarily like a
yeah,
punishment
exactly,
yeah,
type shit.
right,
yeah
yeah,
by the literal sense of the word he was impeached, but he didn't have to leave office because
right,
it
what like
wasn't.
it went down to a vote or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So it was just like he beat the charges.
That
I beat
nigga
the
beat the
case, looking at
charges
it.
to. That's crazy,
He
bro.
beat the
This nigga,
charges.
yo, Trump really be like getting off by the skin of his teeth. Like he literally has done everything in the book that you're like not supposed to be doing, and like he still can get away with the shit, and he still can run for president.
Yeah,
On
you
some
think that like
nonsense.
grab him by the pussy would have done him in, but nah, he.
Yeah,
Nah,
like that is
Yeah,
the craziest thing in the world, and he got away with it.
Facts.
and I'm
like
not
Mixed
gonna
he
it
cap.
up.
stole he
I've heard
like just
women speak
most
up about a lot
recently
of stuff, but not about that as much as I thought they would. I'm not gonna cap.
I think like white women
he
like made
still
up
had
for
a
like the
strong
majority.
a
White women accounted
strong
for like the majority of
white
his vote,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He still had a
Oh,
strong white woman audience after he
yeah,
said that.
he has strong base.
and they was the
that
ones that
makes
he
no
was
sense to me.
and it was they pussies that he was grabbing.
It's like
Allegedly.
Republican or Democrat. It's
Nah,
like
he
yo,
said it.
all
Nah,
women
like he
should
let us
just
say
chalk me.
it.
Like
It was his words.
that's
Like
crazy.
Like
Yeah, I don't know that.
it's as
I
far
can't
from
believe
alleged
this.
as possible.
Well,
And
yeah. So that's actually that's yeah. I personally don't get it, but I mean, I guess while we're here, speaking of nasty old white men, so
mm,
apparently
big segue
there
game.
was a picture. Yeah, there was. Hey, man, I'm getting better. There
The
was a
guy's a natural.
a picture. There's a picture that surfaced online. I don't know who found it, but Twitter and the internet is damn near undefeated. They'll find pictures of you doing whatever. But they found a picture of Jerry Jones at a very what's the word? The optics weren't good on this either.
I don't know. It was a very
Uh,
bad look.
the optics,
bad,
like
very yeah, bad optics. It's not a very good optical day for people. But anyway,
probably the
so
worst optic you could probably ever
oh
have.
yeah, horrible optics,
Like it's
horrible.
up
And you
there
know
with
what's
top
crazy?
notch.
I don't think he said like anything on it like ever.
Oh yeah, he didn't. And he didn't apologize. But anyway, kind of giving more context. So he was at the Little Rock Nine. He was a part of the white crowd that was there protesting integration of black and white schools, and he was there just in the crowd. He wasn't there like yelling or turning up or anything like that, but just being there to me is like why the people that were there, like why the white people were there. And I'm not saying again, I'm not saying I don't like white people, and I'm not saying that all white people are one way or another. But if you were there in that crowd that day, more
Yeah.
than likely, if you weren't holding a camera, even if you were holding a camera, your reasoning for being there wasn't because you wanted to spread love and positivity towards
Yeah.
black people. So he was there, and that picture surfaced, and people were up in arms about it. But kind of note to no surprise here, kind of nothing really happened from it, especially from the league and he kind of addressed it, but he didn't say I'm sorry. And then a lot of black people were defending him and like, oh, he's a good guy. He can change. But what I found interesting about this whole thing was when it's a white billionaire that does something or caught doing something that's messed up or racial or whatever, people are fighting for his, what's the word? His approval and all that shit. Black and white alike are fighting for it. But, when it's us doing something, we make a small error, or maybe not even an error, just a small,
Lapse in judgment.
yeah, lapse in judgment, possibly. We're crucified, ostracized, all the, big words that you want to use. So I just thought that was interesting. But I would like to hear y'all's take on that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at any person in that crowd, any white person sideways. They was there to, harass them niggas. So, clearly, like I'm not fucking
Rest
with
them
him over
niggas.
that. Like I'm not fucking with him over that. Like he knew what he was doing in that goddamn crowd. He wasn't just spectating. Even
Right,
if he was spectating, he wasn't doing shit to help. So it's just a bad look in general.
right.
And like I'm not surprised though because like NFL
It's
already
an
has racial
NFL
issues
owner.
like we discussed. It's a fucking
It's
NFL owner.
yeah, like
These
I
niggas are
don't.
just fucking cattle to him. They live cattle.
Yeah.
Hey,
And he's
honestly,
like 80 years old. Like, wait, like, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like, and of course we're not defending him, but it's just like niggas is not shocked at all.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I actually have, well, so LeBron James decided to, which this story kind of picked up steam because after they did it, after the story surfaced, of course, ESPN had Stephen A. go give out, a defense of Jerry Jones, and a lot of people in the black community are not a fan of Stephen A. Because of things like that and how he reacted to the Kyrie mess and whatnot. But it really started to pick back up steam because LeBron James said, well, also Coons is one of the smartest animals in the jungle.
Yeah, oh,
Whatever
yeah,
the fuck,
fact, my fault.
whatever the fuck Herschel Walker said.
Yeah, 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 my fault, bro. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault. Yeah, yeah. You right. You right. My bad, bro.
so so it started to pick up steam because LeBron James, he at a press conference or a scrum, he was like, hey, why aren't you guys asking me about Jerry Jones? You're asking me about you asked me about Kyrie, you asked all these players about Kyrie, but why didn't you ask me about Jerry Jones? Whenever Kyrie was like, keep that same energy for all issues, this is what it meant. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And I have my thoughts about that. Before I get my thoughts about that, the one quick little I don't want to say joke, but it's kind of a joke. Uh, they asked Jerry Jones when he heard about LeBron saying that, right? And how he feel about the allegations. He was just like, in the clip, he was just like, man, it warms my heart every time LeBron said that he was a Cowboy fan. And I always thought that he was a great leader, a great athlete, and he would have been a hell of a tight end. And that's all he said on it. He didn't apologize. He didn't address it or nothing. He was just like, yeah, I thought he was a great tight end.
Like Jerry, that has
That's
nothing to
it.
do with what I just asked
I
you.
always thought he'd be a great tight end.
That is crazy, yo.
You see the type of shit they can get away with. We had to do, well, not we, but Kyrie had to do a whole fucking big ass apology. He had to donate to
Bro,
every
hold
fucking
on, hold
body in
on, hold
America.
on, bro, hold on. This man Kyrie literally had to apologize at least 4 times. They asked him the same questions over and over for
Facts.
like a week, and they gave him side quests just to get back into the league.
Side quests are
Nigga said
Like,
crazy.
side quest. Side quest is wild.
like that's crazy, bro. But Jerry Jones can
Exactly.
just own a team. He can say some BS in an interview and don't get asked about it again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's that power, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's what power will do.
it pays to own.
So what are y'all
Yeah.
thoughts about people like Stephen A. or I guess the lack of? I'm not gonna say the networks itself because we know who owns the networks,
Right.
right? But in terms of I guess the personalities of how much I don't know vitriol they had towards Kyrie Irving, but they were reasonable with Jerry
Kyrie
Jones.
Irving.
That's not high sound. But they're reasonable, Jerry Jones. But they were like reasonable with like a Jerry Jones or somebody like that. Like, what are kind of like your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not really surprised, honestly. Like, like that's literally what we were talking about, you know? Like, it's just one is, I mean, the first thing that starts is coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have coverage on it, if people aren't really talking about it, it doesn't fucking matter, you know? And that's what happened in the case of Kyrie, you know? Like, you know, people just wouldn't stop talking about it. And that's why it got like 4 weeks of fucking news coverage. Um, I think, you know, people have vested interest to protect their own. And, you know, they really didn't see a need to cover this story. Uh, but I don't know. It sounds like a defeatist kind of take, but it's kind of just the reality that we've kind of grown and learned to accept that, you know, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Fuck them.
I mean, shit. I ain't gonna say I'm against, you know, anybody being you know, discriminating against anybody,
yeah.
but you know, when we do it, we're gonna have to go through them hoops because we have no power, and that's
Yeah,
kind of what it is, I guess.
kind of a sad take, but it's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you think they're not necessarily caring and or reacting to said situation because of how old the nigga is. So when he grew up, there was a lot of racism and stuff going on, and segregation and all that. And the way he probably grew up, his parents was probably like, we don't like those guys or whatever the case may be. So he just thought he was doing what his parents said, or those ideologies or whatever growing up. So he thought that was like the norm, I
I
guess.
mean,
Nah, I'm not giving that nigga no credit.
he was like 14,
Yeah.
15. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if he was
Nah,
like a kid, that's cool. He was like 14, 15, though, for sure. But,
But
that
it's
nigga,
like those things can rub off on you as a kid, though. It's like, oh, hey,
of
your parents is
course.
always telling you like, don't do this or don't hang out with them or don't give them your lunch money.
Of course.
Like,
And my
but I
problem
mean,
isn't necessarily with, oh, I'm sorry, Blake. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it makes you think
wow.
like you know, at the age of 14, you kind of developed an opinion. It makes you think like how far, like I mean, like at this point, it's like okay, like it kind of just confirms what we've kind of all been feeling. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he owns a team full of black people. Like how much of what he grew up believing is
Can
not
we assess how
doesn't
wild
really.
that is in itself? Like their owners, like that, like, bro, like even just the rhetoric,
Yes.
like how easy that,
Yes.
like, bro, like did you just hear
Owners.
what you said? Like he
Yeah,
owns
bro.
a
They
team
get
full of
they
black
they
people.
still they still get to trade niggas essentially for money, and they
Damn.
get money for yes, bro. Like
They gotta
Damn,
they
are
work.
you all the way up
Oh
there?
yeah.
huh?
I was talking to Black. I was like, why was he all the way at the 3-point line?
They gotta work them
But
out
yeah.
and all that other stuff. I don't know. Just
It's
it's a lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot of
Let me
similarity.
see how much you
God
can
dang,
lift. Let me see
niggas
how
got
fast you
corona.
can run.
Hey, yo, well, oh,
I
you can't
got
say that on Twitch.
You
I
can't say
don't
corona.
you
actually.
can't.
Stop saying it. Like, yo, if you talk about it, they'll like mute stuff about it because they had a lot of people
You
that was
can't
talking
say the
about.
c word. That's
Just
The,
wild.
the,
don't say it.
the answer
Yeah,
Isn't
the
that
answer is
censorship?
no,
Is
I
that not
don't.
censorship? That's
yeah,
not
No,
it
I
our
mean
is.
that's
censorship.
just their
It is
I test I
censorship.
test
it's their
Why are they
I tested
censoring us?
negative. So
That's
yeah,
weird.
hold all that.
Nah, I gotta hold that because you coughing in the mic. Now that's crazy.
You
Anyway,
ugly shit.
Crazy.
Anyway, so
anyway,
like I was
yeah.
saying, the white people own teams full of black people. You can still kind of trade them. It still sounds crazy, the whole rhetoric, like you said. So it's just like But either
Yeah.
way, I think that the
Bad
whole
optics
Jerry
again.
Jones, yeah, bad optics, and
Bad
it is kind
optics,
of a
but
defeatist.
I'm not surprised. I have more personally.
Oh yeah, not
I
surprised.
have a bigger issue with like people like Stephen A. and more so the media
Yes.
for the black media in
Good
specifically
shit.
because I do think,
Good
look,
shit.
man, if it's your job to talk about the Kyrie thing, you know what I'm saying? I get that, and I'm not telling you because, and this is gonna kind of bleed into our next topic. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to play this person should be the martyr or the activist whenever you don't get affected by it, right? Whenever you don't
Right.
have to fall on that sword, it's easy to say if somebody should. But
Yeah.
the way that they did Kyrie, how they talked about him, I think Stephen A. just straight up called that man an idiot or some shit like that. Like they
Yeah.
disrespected him and shit like that. Also, the Brooklyn Nets, they started winning games and shit, and Kyrie and Ben Simmons started playing well, and
And
I don't
nobody
hear
talked about
about
that.
yeah, I don't hear about them niggas at all. But anyway, but just kind of like the way that they went about it between like Kyrie did, how Shannon Sharp did. You know what I'm saying? It was just fucking insane to me, right? And then you get a thing with like Jerry Jones, and they have grace, and then they have, they can speak with calmness, and they call him Mr. Jones or Stephen
Right.
A.
My buddy Jerry Jones.
My Libra brother, like I ain't gonna lie, bro,
Nah, Libra
like
Who
that.
brother
said nah? Who
was
said that?
Libra
ridiculous.
Nah,
Stephen
who
brother?
said that?
A.
Nah.
Stephen
Dude.
No, nah,
A.
bro.
What?
That
All
nigga too
right, I'm
old to be.
sorry. I cannot
Yeah,
defend him.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Libra
bro.
Yeah,
I'm
brother,
sorry.
I'm like, yo,
that's
like,
inexcusable.
get this dick out your mouth, bro. Like, just, oh
Yeah, that
man,
nigga.
we're never
Yeah.
gonna
Them
go on
old
first take,
man.
but
Sheesh.
But
That's enough
yeah,
football questions. Last one.
I think I think it's very interesting how they'll be the first to speak negatively about our own people, and we're not trying to make this a you know all black podcast and hate everybody else podcast. We don't hate everybody else, but we are
nah, we
all
are an
black on
all
this
black
podcast.
podcast.
We are all black on this podcast, so we want to speak about issues
Yes.
that are relevant to us briefly. And this is one of them. I feel like Stephen A. And I'm not saying Shannon Sharper all the way, but he does this too. Even Shaq does this. They'll speak up negatively against very negatively and like you said call Kyrie people like Kyrie and shit like that idiots and shit like that. But when it comes to Jerry Jones or when it comes to what's the Papa John's nigga?
Oh,
Yeah.
Papa John?
Yeah,
Papa
I don't
John.
fucking know.
yeah,
Yeah, Papa
I don't
John.
know.
John.
Yeah, John. when it comes when it comes to John and shit like that, they don't want to speak up on that. I don't know. I don't recall Shaq's comments on that, and he's still a brand
Well,
ambassador for
no, well,
Papa
no.
John's.
What he
I
did
What?
was
What?
he took his spot on the board. So I'm not about to give. I'm gonna shoot
Yes.
Shat some belt on that one. He took his
Yeah,
spot on
because
the
Okay.
board.
we spoke to Shaq directly at school. I don't
Yeah,
want to
we
flex
did.
that, but like we spoke to
Yeah,
Shaq
yeah.
directly at school, and he
Cool
basically
spot.
was
Like it,
like,
bro.
"Yeah, like
Should have been there.
we took over, the spots on the
Uh,
board and all
Yeah,
that."
and it
So
was like, and
All
it was
right.
like the only way that he could get a spot on the board, he had to be a brand ambassador for it. So, because I mean,
Right.
and Shaq, if you got Shaq on your team, use it. But yeah,
Right.
but I mean,
Right.
it's Charles Barkley does it a lot too,
Yeah, Charles
um,
Barkley too.
which is
So
crazy
I
because
think it's
I, I think it's just I don't know. I'm not saying that we're not saying that black people shouldn't be corrected, but I've always
it's
said
shine
this.
black
I've always said this. No other group corrects their people in public and as
facts.
often as we do, and I think that
Oh,
that's a problem.
dude.
Like I don't know.
Horrible.
I just feel
One
like
hundred
yo
percent.
hit Kyrie on the text. Like a
Facts.
lot of
Hey,
y'all got
you
his
can
number
get his
and be
number
like,
easily. Facts.
yo, my nigga, you was wilding. Or like
Yeah.
even if you don't say nothing in like vitriol support, right? I would do better than you like just going ham against the dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Against like something is innocent. Kyrie literally didn't say anything. They was really the Kyrie got suspended because he wouldn't apologize how they wanted him to.
Right.
But we're not about to rehash the Kyrie thing again. But I don't know. Just in more, black, like you said, the coverage was, it's just the difference in coverage. And I think that
Yeah,
that
bro, I didn't even
disparity,
see it. I had to ask y'all exactly what happened. Like, I
exactly.
mean, if it wasn't for Twitter, I would hadn't known at all what was going on. So
Yeah,
that's
and so
that's just how it goes.
I just think it's just different. It's funny. Kwame Brown used to talk about this a lot. He was just like, whenever they were covered, yeah, it's crazy, right? Because he was talking about like with the Deshaun thing, and it was just like, and this was before we found out it was like 50 women, but whatever it was like 3 or 4, it was like, wow, they've been talking about Deshaun for like 2 weeks, but that offensive lineman that almost killed his black girlfriend, that white offensive lineman almost killed his black girlfriend. They spent like 30 minutes on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
By the Seahawks.
Yeah, nah, because he like whipped her ass.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about that.
And so, it's just all different. But speaking of coverage, in the most double entendre form as possible, former NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, former Jackson State coach,
Good shot.
this now former coach of Jackson State and current head coach of University of Colorado, Deion Sanders has been getting some backlash because of his move from Jackson State to Colorado. And well, this has kind of divided the black community, and I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those moments where every time I hear a white reporter or a white network trying to give their thoughts and views on it, I mean, even not even necessarily white, if you are not a part of HBCU culture, not necessarily saying you went to HBCU, but you have to be a part of HBCU culture to kind of, I kind of don't want to get your thoughts on it because I feel like it's just things that you wouldn't understand, and I feel like people, they're like, it's easy to make it seem like it's just a coaching change, right? But you got to understand, it's like, oh, it's just a coach going from a small school to a big school. But I think with HBCUs, it's a little different, and so I kind of want to get y'all thoughts on it. But just to give some more background and context, Deion Sanders went to Jackson State for 3 years, I want to say, and
Yeah, it was difficult.
he said his mission was to bring prominence to HBCU, recruit some of our black talent to get to these schools, so that way it can build up funding and notoriety to these to be up to compete to these Power Five schools and things like that. Deion Sanders had the opportunity to re-up with his contract from Jackson State, if I'm not mistaken, but decided to go take the opportunity and be the head coach of Colorado, where his son Travis Hunter, who might as well be his new son, and other high recruits that went to Jackson State that people were surprised they went to Jackson State. Of course, they followed him because they want to play for Dion, not necessarily play for HBCU. And yeah, so that's just sparked like a lot of controversy in the black community. Whether it's some people, having hate for him, or some people saying that, yeah, I get it, you gotta go get your money up. I think it's a gray area. So I kind of want to get y'all thoughts about like how y'all feel about it, considering that we all went to HBCUs.
Right.
I feel like that we're appropriate to speak on it.
I guess I'll start. I, I look at it kind of. I see both perspectives. Um, but this is, and at first, when it first came, I'm like, okay, I get it. He had to get. Uh, he wanted to go to a place where he could get more resources and things of that nature. That was like one of his biggest frustrations. He had to figure out ways to do creative things to get shit for his players. And I can understand that frustration of doing as much and having to jump through 30,000 hoops, um, get shit done. Um, and ultimately, it seemed like that's the biggest reason why he left. And honestly, it seems like he just wanted to be a a major level D1 coach from the jump. But I
That is
think
not
I
my favorite.
do. I think I do have a problem with him. I'm not going to say I have a problem with him leaving. I think how he went about the entire thing. Uh, I wish he could have done differently. Just kind of observing everything, because it's like he sold dreams to really HBCU, alums in general, but more specifically, Jackson State University. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think what he did, and I've seen this argument that he's done more for HBCUs and Jackson State in 2 years than they could have done in 20 years, which I fully and wholeheartedly agree with. You know, but
Mm,
also I just feel as though it's just like like if you're going to come in a place and preach, like we gotta do this and that for the HBCUs, and we gotta look out for them, and we gotta do this. I would have loved if he could have just stayed just a little longer, maybe that 4 year, 5 year mark, to kind of like this is the thing, and the same thing that Jai just said about the players, like a lot of the players came for Dion. Like the program, I don't feel as though like maybe time will tell, but I don't feel like he was there long enough to leave a lasting culture. He was just there to teach, how it can be done. But if he could have stayed a little bit longer, I think he could have maybe helped sustain a culture of winning to a point where, maybe people can really see like what can happen if we really go to a HBCU. I think with him leaving, it kind of emphasizes, the point of, like you got to go to like if you have to go to a HBCU, do it to like get a better position and then transfer. Like that's kind of what the message he kind of did send to me. But that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Uh, Lando. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sure.
B-Ray.
Like, I
Yeah,
guess
go
I
ahead.
could go on to.
Either
B-Ray,
one.
go ahead.
Either one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was like, I think it was honestly corny, just because it's like, I understand from like, if I put myself in his shoes, it's like, okay, I could get more money or whatever the case may be. Cool, cool. If you're gonna actually go ahead and be a coach, sometimes it might be better to put yourself in those other rooms with those bigger schools and stuff like that. I understand all of that, but as a person that went to a HBCU and we pride ourselves on our sports, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you're preaching on this HBCU culture and we got to look out for them and this, that, and the third, and you only stayed for 3 years, like I feel like it's like you were just doing it for like just to win the people over and then dip out whenever you get a bigger money grab. Like it doesn't seem like he wanted to be a part of the HBCU culture like he said he was. And it's like, yeah, you coached for 3 years. Yeah, we had some success. And then on top of that, the players that, were really good, they left right with you. So now it's like, okay, well,
They back to square
we're,
zero.
yeah, like that Jackson State might be corny next year now. Like, of course, people may want to go, like, oh, like, because a lot of players and athletes, they go to schools for winning culture or winning records or whatever. But now it's like, okay, you took Shador, you took Travis Hunter and the coach, and now it's like, okay, well, who's going to want to come to Jackson State now? So that it just kind of just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, just like from that perspective when you say HBCU this and that, and then you leave. Like if you left HBCU to go to another HBCU, that's cool. But like you left entirely and went to a PWI, and then now where do we go from here?
Hmm. I don't
Lando.
know. I feel kind of mixed about it because I feel like, if anything, he showed loyalty to those street players who he brought along, who otherwise would have not really gotten that chance. It's like he found diamonds of the rough at the HBCU and tried to give him a
They
higher
weren't
platform,
diamonds of the
maybe.
rough. They weren't diamonds of the
They
rough.
weren't.
No, no, no.
No, no,
He
they were
They
top
were hard.
recruits. They were top
They
Yeah,
were
recruits.
like
hard
they were
bodies.
like
Yeah,
Travis
They were
Hunter was the
them.
best recruit in
Travis. Yeah,
And,
Travis Hunter.
and they weren't players that were already there. They
I,
were
yeah,
like
yeah,
his
yeah. He
sons
he
and
brought them
like
in.
high school. Yeah, he brought them.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
context.
They
Exactly.
came to
Okay,
him.
so
They
this
were
is way
going
too easy for him.
they were going to go to like Alabama, and then he was like,
yeah.
"Nah, come to Jackson State, so that way you can get some coverage, and so that like you can still get the necessary coverage, and like things
Exactly.
here." And
So
so
he
yeah,
allowed to fluff them up basically by letting them go to that school and then took them away.
he tried to fluff up the
Essentially.
school, but yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's
Like
Yeah.
nasty.
Shador is Dion's son, and he was one of the top quarterbacks.
Shador was gonna get coverage wherever he went because he's
He
Dion's
was going
son.
to get coverage wherever. Dion, oh my God, yo, oh my, who's
Yo, whose
Mike?
mic is that?
It ain't mine.
Either way, Shador, please unplug that joint. Yo,
Yo,
please
yeah, for
unplug
real.
that joint,
Somebody
yo.
If you
fight
fiddling with your mic, take it out right now.
whose mic is that?
Christ. But either way, Shador is Dion's son. So he was going to get coverage regardless, and he was good. So he would have been straight. But then it's like, oh, I want to play for my dad. So now it's like, all right, cool. We about to go to Jackson State with my dad. And we going to play regardless. And we're going to just have a ball. And then you get the top recruit, Travis Hunter. And then he comes, and he's like, I want to play for Deion Sanders. I don't even think he really, I'm not going to say he cared or didn't care about HBCU, but
I don't
he
think
wanted to play for
did.
Deion
Yeah,
Sanders.
I don't think he did. Like
I don't think he
he's
did.
a cornerback out of Florida, and he is being coached by Deion Sanders. Like, of course he wants to go. He has the opportunity to go play for Deion Sanders. Of course, I will go to Deion Sanders, right?
Right.
And I think
So now it's
yeah. Go ahead.
oh
My fault.
yeah, I was just gonna say. So now we're at a scenario where it's just like, yo, like with us knowing all that, and then you have some success, and you want to build a foundation. I think foundations for these college, you know, programs, these college programs, they're built over years of success, not
Exactly.
3 years of success.
Yeah.
So it's like for you to say HBCU this and that, and then you just leave. It doesn't really you didn't really do anything. That those 3 years of your little success, it's gonna come and go, and we're gonna forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I feel like you kind of Lando. Like I have mixed kind of views because at one point it's like if you a father and you have opportunity to get more money for you and your family, shit. I'm not knocking that. But at the same time, if you preaching like, hey, I'm about to rebuild this, I'm about to do this for HBCUs and blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Granted, he did say that he would leave, or that if a better opportunity came along, that he would leave. I get that, but you're preaching. You're kind of selling. Is this the same team? You're kind of selling a dream, for
Yeah.
real. It is. You're selling a dream to the kids and to to the parents of that program that put their kids there because they're like, oh yeah, we got Dion here. We can go to. They can still get an HBCU experience, and they can go here and get a good sports experience as well. And then you just up and leave. Like I feel like
Uh,
that's wild. Now I feel like we're gonna go back to exactly where we were as far as HBCUs previously, as far as not getting that much coverage. Because what since Dion, I've
That
seen more
was,
HBCU
yeah.
games on ESPN and shit like that more than ever. So I think he had, if not all, he had a large part to do with that. And I think the coverage is going to go back down. The players that are going to want to come to HBCUs that are actually good is going to go back down dramatically because that was pretty much the only reason that they were going there in the first place. So all that shit that he said that he was doing or that he did or whatever is back to where it was, if not worse, in my opinion, because nobody's gonna go fuck with HBCU now because there's no incentive to.
Yeah. And so
so. Mhm.
where I think we all still have the mixed things because we all understand, and it kind of goes into, it's easy to say to fall on the sword whenever you don't have to fall on the sword, right? But
Right.
I
Yeah.
do think at some point, as a community, in anything we want to build up that's all black or black, we have to go through some years of sacrificing the luxury to build it up. You have to that there's nothing you have to build the foundation, and I feel like that what Dion was trying to do was build a foundation. And I think while he was there, we'll see if it actually started, which is gonna be on ESPN. Is gonna be on ESPN and all these networks that were showing HBC games to see. It's gonna be on uh, some of these top recruits to see do they want to go to a black school just for them, right? Is going to be on some of these former and notable players. Are they going to go back and coach these HBCUs like Dion? Because a lot of people saw the Dion mold, but now, like, shit, you saw him leave. Is that going to change your mind, right? So it's like, it's it's a under. I understand, like going to advance yourself personally, but
Hmm.
like you said, Dion, his pitch was that I didn't need to do this, right? I
Hmm.
didn't need to do this. I came here to build a culture for HBCUs. Um I came here to shine a light on that we can have our HBCU talent. And if you low key look in the NFL, it's a good amount of HBCU talent, but they just get
Right.
picked so far down the draft. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can get good players there. Shout out Kyle Duggar, right? New England Patriot,
Hmm.
top five safety. And so,
Hmm.
and like it, I get it from that aspect, but I was like, bro, like it hurt. Like being an HBCU alum, it hurt that he just dipped like that. And then, I think the people, especially the people who who didn't go to HBCU and want to have an opinion on, like, just because you black, you gonna get an opinion on this. I'm sorry, that you just don't, right? Because it's different from the HBCU culture. It's more than just a school. It's a culture. This isn't just he made a school change, right? This isn't like going from Alabama to UT or UT to Alabama, whatever, right? It's not like that
Right.
because that has an established program that has boosters, that has coverage, right? That
Hmm.
has a history. Or whenever, what's the guy's name? Lincoln Riley. He went to USC. You know what I'm saying? Like that has established. You don't have to establish a culture. You don't have to really build anything. You can only focus on football. HBCUs, if it started off from just sports, getting that getting that coverage, right? Getting that, oh shit, Jackson State's kind of cool, right? then you get the coverage, you get the bands, you get, you know what I'm saying, you get the dancing dolls, you get some of the students come over there. They talk about the things that they're doing. You know, you talk about some of the programs and things like that. Like it just opens up to just opportunities for HBCU students in general,
Right.
right?
And then on top of that, like when you got names like Deion Sanders on the program and platform, people may just even want to endorse y'all just
Exactly, bro.
because.
Barstool was at Jackson State for man. 'Cause I think that's what Travis Hunter got an NIL deal with Barstool or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, or that's alleged. I don't know,
Yeah, but go on.
but just like it's just Deion Sanders because he's Deion Sanders. He's a fucking celebrity, right? Anything he does, especially anything he does in relation to football, is gonna get coverage. And I think
Right.
that you know 2 years probably just wasn't enough because as you can see, the players left, the good players left, and watch how many people are gonna tune into University of Colorado this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I
And it's
just
not
think,
like he has to like do because weren't they? Didn't they have like a? Didn't they lose like all their games basically? So it's like it's not like he has
yeah.
to build the program back up like to super high winning status off the bat because they already suck. So he doesn't even have to do much to kind of
And
like
I think
prove his
he's
worth
gonna do
there.
that anyway
Yeah,
because
he
now
got
look at
talent
this
over there
because and he's gonna have even more talent than he could have got at Jackson State because now
and funding.
you have Power 5 amenities, right, with Deion Sanders as your coach. People are
Right,
definitely gonna want to play there.
right.
People, Alabama, UT, they about to lose out on some. They about to lose out on some boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? They want to go play for
Yeah,
Deion
for sure. If
Sanders.
you can get Travis Hunter to go to JSU, imagine what the hell he can do
In a Power
with.
5 school.
Yeah,
And I think Colorado is one of the best party schools not ever, but like in the United States. So that also is going to attract a lot of young kids want to go there. Like
Denver is
it's
a nice place, or wherever it is. Like Denver
fat.
is like it's a cool city and shit like that. So like it's things there that is just gonna like is really just gonna end up detracting from HBCUs, right? And I get on one side, hey, we got a black coach at a Power 5 school that's probably gonna be successful, right? So that's gonna open up more coaching opportunities. But at the same time, it's like, bruh, you could have did that with us, and it just would have took
Right.
longer. It would have took longer. It would have been a harder road. You know what I'm saying? You probably would have had to eat on some bread a lot because I don't think Jackson State made them any money or some shit like that. Like I think the
I think he was getting
expenses,
300,000 or some shit off of it.
yeah, and I think the
If I'm not
football
Yeah,
mistaken.
expenses
and he
itself was
gave
like the expenses
yeah he
itself was
gave
like
some
250.
right.
So it was just like yeah, like I don't think it made them any money, but you kind of knew that going in. Like you went to a HBCU in the poorest state in the country. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I don't know,
I feel
man.
like he tried some shit out, might have not liked it as much, and just wants the next project. Like,
But
if you don't
here's
like
the
doing
thing. Here's
something,
the
I can
thing.
see
Here's the
you
thing.
not
If
wanting to
he just
leave.
said that I'm just going to try to coach to do that, I wouldn't have a
Yeah,
problem. He came in and I
it's
think,
his.
but
Like
Monty
I
Jones
feel
said
like
it.
he
He
kind
tried
of
to say
used
it
us,
like
bro.
he did because
yeah, sort of.
he
Like
was
it was a marketing ploy, bro. Like that's what it was. Like
It was
the
selling
reason why
dreams,
I say
bro.
that is Lando is because it's not that he tried something out. His whole spiel was, we like I'm trying
I'm
to make the HBCUs like
Right.
people take the HBCUs serious. You know what I'm saying? Like when
yeah
you're going under that gaze, what he did was like that does not equal your mission statement. You feel me? Like at all. Like it's
But
just
then he also said that he would leave if someone gave him more money. I don't know. It just
he
kind of
he
said,
seemed
and
like
I,
this
and I
nigga was
think that's
like,
from the jump. Like he kind of. It's like, don't you know that saying? Like believe what somebody says. Like or whatever. Like believe
that's funny.
believe what somebody shows you or something like that. Like when
When
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
shows
show
you
you
who
who
they
they
are,
are,
believe
believe
them.
But
them.
believe me.
someone,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
shit.
talking about.
Yeah, no,
God damn it.
like go by actions, not by words, basically.
Yeah, bro. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
you said
granted, like
that
he was
so
pretty
poorly.
damn blatant, like with what he said. But it's just like you know what I'm saying. Like it felt like his plan was if y'all aren't going to because like before this, you know what I'm saying, he was trying to get a job and he couldn't get hired at what
he wanted to go
FSU.
to yeah. I think he was either
Yeah,
FSU or
FSU.
FAU. It was one of the Florida schools. He wanted to go.
FSU, his
FAU.
alma
Oh, so he
mater.
wanted to play with the niggas. So he wanted to play with the niggas because he couldn't get in with the white folk.
Exactly. So
That's what it looks
it
like.
feels
Uh huh.
like he used a market employee to like, okay, I'm going to show y'all I'm a great coach by making this HBCU that before me was nothing, nobody knew who they were, and turn them up and show you what I can bring to the school. He did that. Now he went to. It feels like he's going to bed. He's doing like home improvement, like to show like how good I am, to like get like a coaching job at Alabama. Like that's what it feels like to me at this point. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he
it's a
go ahead.
yeah. I was just gonna say, and to top it all off, it's like the school he left to go to. They don't even have the money to pay boy yet.
But here's the thing though, they got boosters because it's a PWI.
Nah,
Like
they
they got
gonna find that
different
fucking
they got
money.
different boosters and different alum and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know it just looks bad when boy in the interview says
Yeah,
we
he
don't got
said,
the money
yeah.
right now, but we gonna get it. Like
yeah.
what?
Don't get got
They even
down.
pay you up front, gang. Like
And
what,
just
what,
kind of
are,
like
what are we doing here?
and just kind of like to close this out. I would say
Oh,
that.
I had one more thing, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Because mine is
Nah, like the shit that really blew me.
Yeah, go
The shit that really blew me. Like I was on Twitter and I saw this woman. I guess she's a Colorado fan. She said, "I can't wait for Dion to bring this to Colorado or whatever." And it was HBCU culture at its finest. You know what I'm saying? The band, the prep, like everybody hype. You know what I'm
come
saying?
on.
Everybody
Come
chilling.
on.
And somebody had quote tweeted and said, "No, you're getting Prime. You're not getting HBCU culture, or whatever." And
Facts.
it just kind of just made me like think like I don't know, like I was just I don't even know what
It
my
made
point
you
was.
think like I don't
Appalled.
know like
I
Appalled.
forgot my point, but
But,
I do know that I just
Best
it
part of
just
the
felt
point.
like it was a show, bro.
hey
It just
man,
felt
we
like it
got it
was a
live,
show.
man. We unfiltered,
Hey, man.
uncut, one take Drakes. You know what I'm saying? But
You know what I'm saying?
nah,
yeah, but
like
well, let's not harp on it too long.
yeah.
You know,
Just in closing thoughts.
we still appreciate Bull for going to Jackson State. Like I didn't go to Jackson State, but you show HBCU some love, and like he said, you didn't have to come. So it's like
Yeah,
it was cool while it lasted, I guess. But
yeah. And
should have stayed longer.
just in closing thoughts, like the onus isn't on Dion to. It wasn't fair to try to put this all on Dion for make HBCUs relevant, make HBCUs to this prominence. It's on us, HBCU alum. It's on these networks. Y'all want to milk us because y'all want to kiss Deion Sanders' ass for a whole year. No, spotlight HBCU. Still had an HBCU game down ESPN and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, keep us up with the standards, with the rankings and shit like that. You feel me? It's on everybody to say if you was really committed to this, commit to it, and it's on us as alum. It's on it's on the black community to build this up ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate what Deion Sanders did. He kind of sparked it up, but we can't let that go to waste by being mad at him or you know what I'm saying. We can't just. I feel like too many people anointing him as like the Messiah, and so it's just like, nah, we ain't doing that. He's not the Messiah. HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? It's on us, the alum, to do it. If we want HBCUs to be like this, are we just gonna be outraged, or do we want to find a solution about it? You feel me? So if we
I
want to
I
find
don't really care about HBCU sports at all, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
oh my
To
god,
those who do.
Yeah.
you ain't have to say that live, my
Yeah,
nigga.
like-
Yo, you ain't have to
That's
say
something
that.
we already knew.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, I don't know, like, to this day, I don't really understand how important sports programs are to HBCUs,
That's
just
because
considering
we
the fact
What?
that,
we went to
we
we
don't
went
get fair
to
shake. We really don't.
Well, yeah,
Like,
and
so
but that's the point, to try to build it up
Yeah.
to get a fair shake, because the reason why some of these other colleges are where they are is because they got the shit.
and
Bro,
HBCU
more
sports
than
are bigger
anything,
in other
Orlando,
campuses, in my
Mhm.
opinion, than wherever you
if
went.
you think about it, like what HBCU sports could do is bring so much more money to the school for
That'd be
funding
great.
and
Yeah.
buildings and dorms. So
Nigga, I
niggas
used to
don't have
live
to.
by LSU. That football has paid for literally part of the fucking city. Like
You know
how
what
big
I'm saying? And
LSU is. Yeah,
like we slept in the same dorms as Dr. Martin Luther King and them. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine,
literally.
Yeah.
nah, literally,
Horrible
like you know
neighbors.
what I'm
No, like
saying?
literally, it's the same doors.
Imagine if
That's a damn
we had
shame.
like a top football program or basketball program, and how much fucking money that would bring into our school, so niggas don't have to, share the same showers as Samuel L. Jackson. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey man. All right, man. Pay it forward. I think that's pretty much been the theme of this
Oh
podcast. As black
my
people, we gotta sit here, pay it forward. Yeah. It's been a great pod. You guys have any closing thoughts? Anything that's pressing on your mind about anything? No.
I would definitely just say while y'all still out on here, check out the Fish Tank Freestyle on YouTube. B Roy, self promo.
Facts.
That Jonas Fire.
You said the
Check
fish
me out.
fillet.
Def
You said the fish fillet
Def Hot.
freestyle at McDonald's.
No, Fish Tank. Fish Tank. Fish Tank.
2 sandwiches for $5. Fish fillet.
It's only 2 minutes, man. Check me out.
Facts. And
yes, sir.
anybody else got something y'all want to plug?
Hey
Give
man,
love on
just
Christmas Day.
Happy holidays, not just Christmas, but happy holidays.
Yeah, like love
Man, that was
Kwanzaa and
crazy.
shit.
Was you about to say Hakuna Matata?
Yeah, I could have swore that's what he was
No,
about to
I
say.
was
No,
gonna
I feel
say
you was trying to say
Hakuna
Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa is awesome.
Dog,
All
I hate
right,
this nigga.
guys.
Yay! All right, this has been the NIT podcast. Catch us live on
Yeah.
Twitch every Sunday at Sir Leon 211. Catch us on YouTube at NIT Pod TV. Man, next year big changes happening to the pod. New format, things like that. You're finally gonna see our faces. Yeah, and we might not be going live as much. I mean, I don't know. We still gotta discuss that shit. But yeah, NIT Pod TV. It's your boy Sir Leon. Had a great time chatting with some of my good friends. And yeah. Don't
Don't do
go.
drugs.
Don't be merching some duff. All right.
Or do drugs.
Bye. I
Up to
mean,
you.
if you want to do drugs, that's
Yeah, if you
your
want to do
business.
drugs.
Be
Shout out
safe.
to
Crack it
K-Man.
if you want.
Don't OD.
Crackhead try.
We're not condoning drugs. Wow, this is bad. Can we just end
Yeah.
it?